Daniel Harper adjusted his tie as he walked into the cozy cafe, rain streaming down the windows behind him. At 38, he'd built Harper Technologies into a billion-dollar empire, but tonight he felt like a nervous teenager. His daughter Lily had been begging him to find someone nice for months, and his sister had finally worn him down enough to agree to this blind date. Just one date, she'd insisted. Her name is Emma. She's a kindergarten teacher. Sweet, genuine, nothing like those socialites you usually meet at galas. Daniel spotted a woman sitting alone at a corner table. She had long blonde hair and wore a simple white blouse and navy skirt. She looked nervous, checking her phone repeatedly, glancing at the door. He approached. Emma. She looked up, and he saw the hope in her eyes. Daniel. Yes, it's nice to meet you. You too. She smiled, but he noticed her hands were trembling slightly. They ordered coffee and started talking. Emma told him about her kindergarten class, about the little girl who insisted unicorns were real because magic doesn't need proof, about the boy who brought his pet turtle for show and tell and it escaped, causing delightful chaos. Daniel found himself genuinely laughing, something he rarely did at the polished charity dinners and business meetings that filled his calendar. What about you? Emma asked. Your sister mentioned you have a daughter. Lily. She's 5. She's the reason I'm here, actually. She told me I needed to meet someone who makes me smile like Mommy used to. Mommy. My wife passed away 3 years ago. Cancer. It's been just Lily and me since then. Emma's eyes filled with compassion. I'm so sorry. That must be incredibly hard. Some days are better than others. Lily helps. She's so full of life and joy. She reminds me why it's worth keeping going. They talked for another hour, the conversation flowing easily. Daniel felt something he hadn't felt in years. Genuine connection, a spark of possibility. Then Emma's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, and her face fell. Everything okay? Daniel asked. Yes. Sorry. She set the phone down, but Daniel could see tears forming in her eyes. Emma, what's wrong? She took a shaky breath. This is going to sound pathetic, but I need to tell you something. This date wasn't just arranged by your sister. It was supposed to be a group thing, a mixer. My friends said 6 guys would be here, all set up through a dating service. They said it would be casual, low pressure. Daniel felt confusion, but I was the only woman who showed up, and you were the only man. Emma's voice cracked. I just got a text from one of my friends. Apparently, the other guys saw my photo and all canceled. They thought I was too plain, too boring, not worth their time. Daniel felt anger rise in his chest. That's cruel. It's honest. Emma wiped her eyes. I'm sorry. You don't need to stay. You were probably obligated by your sister, and now you know this wasn't even a real setup. I'll understand if you want to leave. Daniel looked at this woman who'd spent the last hour making him laugh, sharing stories about children she clearly adored, being vulnerable and real in ways he rarely experienced in his world of carefully managed interactions. Don't leave, Emma said suddenly, her voice barely a whisper. Please, you're the only one who came. You're the only person who thought I was worth showing up for. Daniel felt something break open in his chest. He reached across the table and took her hand. Emma, I'm not leaving. Those men who canceled, they're idiots. You're not plain or boring. You're genuine. You're kind. You light up when you talk about your students. And in the past hour, you've made me laugh more than I have in 3 years. You don't have to say that. I'm not saying it to be nice. I'm saying it because it's true. Daniel squeezed her hand. And I'd like to see you again. A real date, not a mixer that fell apart. Just the 2 of us. Emma looked at him with wonder. Really? Really? If you'll give me a chance. She smiled through her tears. Yes, I'd like that. They stayed at the cafe until it closed, talking about everything and nothing. When Daniel finally walked Emma to her car, felt lighter than he had in years. Over the following months, Daniel and Emma dated. He introduced her to Lily, who immediately adored Emma and her endless patience for tea parties and princess stories. Emma fit into their lives seamlessly, bringing warmth and laughter to the house that had been too quiet for too long. 6 months after that rainy evening at the cafe, Daniel took Emma back to the same spot. "I wanted to come back here," Daniel said, "because this is where I found something I didn't know I was looking for. You said I was the only one who came, the only one who thought you were worth showing up for. Emma, you're worth showing up for every single day." He pulled out a small box and opened it, revealing a simple but elegant ring. "Will you marry me? Will you let me show up for you for the rest of our lives?" Emma said yes through happy tears. At their wedding a year later, Daniel's toast included a story about that first date. "Emma told me I was the only one who came, the only person who thought she was worth showing up for. But here's what she didn't realize. She was the only one worth showing up for. Those other men who canceled, they've missed out on the most genuine, kind, wonderful person I've ever met. Their loss became the greatest gift of my life." Clee, now 7 and serving as flower girl, tugged on Emma's dress. "Does this mean you're my real mommy now?" Emma knelt down, tears in her eyes. "If that's okay with you, sweetheart, it's very okay. I asked Daddy to find someone nice. He found the best." Years later, when people asked Emma about how she and Daniel met, she always told the truth about that disastrous mixer where no one showed up except one man. "I thought that evening was going to be the worst night of my life," Emma would say. "I thought being stood up by 6 men simultaneously was rock bottom. But it turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to me. Because when everyone else saw someone not worth their time, Daniel saw someone worth his future. He saw me when I felt invisible, and that made all the difference." Sometimes being the only one who shows up means you're the only one who matters. Sometimes what feels like rejection is actually redirection toward something better. And sometimes the person who stays when everyone else cancels becomes a person you can't imagine your life without. If this story touched your heart, please like and share it. Subscribe for more stories about choosing to see value where others overlook it. Leave a comment about a time when someone showed up for you when no one else did. Your stories inspire us all.